good evening, everybody. I'm Rachel Killian, and Blake Reynolds and myself are going to present the Preservation Awards this year on behalf of the Attleboro Historical Commission. This is the 22nd Annual Historic Preservation Awards. After the ceremony, if you get a chance, we've got our 20 posters up around the building so you can take a look at some past recipients. If you are willing and able, if you could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's always a little confusing. These are the 2023 Preservation Awards, so we wait for the whole year to go by, and then we nominate people throughout the city, groups, projects that have been completed in that previous year that contribute to Attleboro's history. This year we had 7 nominations, and this is in no way an inclusive list of all of the historic projects that have gone on in town, but we're excited to see so much preservation and pride alive in the city of Attleboro, and tonight we honor those nominees for 2023. Tonight we have junior Jeremy DeAguiar, who is a junior in the Attleboro class. He'll be graduating in 2025 through the robotics CTE program, and he's going to read the mayor's proclamation. His favorite subject, of course, is history. He was able to attend the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party at the end of last year. He's a member of Skills USA, the Leo Club, the National Technical Honor Society, and he's also involved with the Ezekiel Bates and Bristol Masonic Lodges. He is currently an incoming candidate for the Bristol Lodge and will be conferred his entered apprentice degree at 12 midnight on his 18th birthday. In addition, he has a very impressive list of volunteerism, and just recently he and the Skills USA group cleaned up the historic Peck Cemetery for us. He's still mapping out his future plans, but he thinks it'll be in the sciences, perhaps pharmacy or pharmacology, so he's got a very bright future.
Proclamation. Historic Preservation Week, May 12th through the 18th, 2024. Whereas National Historic Preservation Week 2024 is co-sponsored by the National Trust for Historic Preservation and local organizations such as the Attleboro Historic Commission, and whereas preservation and rehabilitation have contributed to the social and economic well-being of our cities and towns by increasing the tax base, decreasing crime, and providing additional housing and opportunities for low and moderate income households. And whereas preservation makes good financial sense as it creates opportunities for private investment in historic districts and neighborhoods, as well as enhancing public investments in streets, squares, parks, and playgrounds. Now therefore, I, Kathleen D. Simone, Mayor of the City of Attleboro, do hereby proclaim May 12th through 18th, 2024 to be Historic Preservation Week in the City of Attleboro, and call upon all citizens to recognize the importance of preserving and rehabilitating our public and private buildings and homes for the future of our city. Signed and sealed, 16th day of May in the year of 2024, Kathleen D. Simone, Mayor.
Next, I'd like to introduce Chair of the Attleboro Historic Commission, Marion Wrightington. She's got a few words to say about preservation in the city.
Thank you. But first, I'd like just to take a minute and thank Rachel and Blake for taking this on. I did it for 20 years and gave it up last year, and this is their second year, and they did a great job last year. But Attleboro is so rich in historical assets, preservation needs to be a priority. We've done well finding new uses for our old buildings. The first mayor's house is the Literacy Center. Watson Newell and many of the other factories are housing now. The old post office has many uses. Our refinery is a museum. So history keeps our community vibrant, beautiful, and livable by giving residents a sense of stability, a stake in their surroundings, and a tangible link to our past. We used to be known as the hub of the jewelry world. We had the largest diner, Whiteman's. We had the largest dye works, Wolfenden's. The tallest standpipe on Ides Hill. All those things were the largest, and they were right here in Attleboro, the largest in the world. So history does seem to be alive in Attleboro, but we need to preserve and protect our cultural history to make its presence known to our residents and visitors, and needs to be passed on to the future generations, because preservation is progress. So congratulations to all you winners tonight, and to all the rest of you, thank you for coming.
All right, our first recipient was unable to attend tonight, so I'll just tell you a little bit about William Mann's house at 26 Park Place. He's received his award for his upkeep and maintenance of his 1909 Queen Anne Cottage home. It's the top left on there. You may have never noticed this beautiful house. It's tucked away on Park Place, not Park Avenue, not Park Street, Park Place. It's right alongside the Sadler Mill, and it's a dead-end street. And so the home was originally owned by Herbert Sadler of the nearby Sadler Mill, and like the rest of the houses on this street, it was originally part of the Sadler Mill complex, filled with workers, family members. This house in 1910 was lived in by a Pawtucket dentist, Wayland Bromley, and his wife Helen, and they first rented the home from the Sadlers, and later they purchased the house. After Wayland's death in 1940, Helen lived in the house until 1962. William has been in the house since 1961 as its most recent caretaker. So, on behalf of William, thank you. All right, our next trio, we have Derek Corsi from Parks and Forestry, Gary Demers from Demers Brothers Rigging and Machinery, and Jeff DiMarzio from DiMarzio Masonry for their work on the Capron Park P. Everett Carpenter Zoo Gateway. That's a mouthful. The new entrance to the zoo was created off the parking lot using the original columns from County Street. You might remember in 2014, a delivery truck struck the metal arch and damaged the stone support columns. New replica columns were installed on County Street, but Parks and Forestry kept the old columns. With some alterations, the old columns and new gates are a welcoming entrance to the zoo. The entrance is named in honor of Parker Everett Carpenter Jr., who was superintendent of Attleboro Parks and Forestry from 1947 to 1989. In addition, funds from the Parker Everett Carpenter Trust were used to complete the project. Now, full disclosure, Derek, Gary, and Jeff are no stranger to our preservation awards. They've won several times in the past. And some people feel a little weird about receiving multiple awards, but if you're going to keep preserving our history, we're going to keep giving you awards. So thank you for the work that you've done. You are welcome to say a few words. You don't have to, but you're always welcome to say a few words. I know Gary's not shy.
Oh, for sure.
You'll let Gary
Not
say
shy,
it. Thank you so much.
Me? Shy?
Thank you.
Wait.
You look fit, man. What?
A little bit, a little bit.
I want you.
Good.
Speaking of preservation,
Very nice.
well, I'll say a few words.
You start off.
So, this whole project started with a couple of problems and then a solution. Problem one, we had these columns in our storage facility. They were in the way. People were potentially backing into them multiple times a day. Problem two, we needed a new entrance for the zoo. So I had this crazy idea of taking these columns and basically mimicking the entrance to Capron Park as a new entrance to the zoo. I didn't know where to start. I've worked with Jeff on a multitude of projects, so one day I called him up. I said, I have this crazy idea. Do you think we can do this? And he said, yeah, I think we can do this. I said, how are we going to move these things? He said, well, Gary Demers can do
I
that.
know a guy.
I know a guy.
I know a guy.
That's where it all started.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be possible without Jeff's help on this. He was really the guy that got the project rolling, got us in touch with an engineer for the
I did all the
footings,
heavy
and-
lifting. Don't let him take you.
And Gary did all the heavy lifting, and without these two guys, it wouldn't be possible. That's phase one. Phase two, we actually have we actually have a designed arch that's going to go atop the columns that we actually have designed, and we're just waiting on funding. We're going to try and fundraise for this, but it's basically a new arch that mimics what's in front of the park, but has a zoo theme, so it has all animal cutouts and stuff. So we're going to utilize the Friends of the Zoo to help fundraise for this. So it'll be a really nice finishing touch to the project. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you to Derek for his vision of adaptive reuse of these columns. They were put out in the back to grow, you know, vines over them and disappear into the past. And in fact, just as he had come up with this idea, I had asked him, what are you doing with those columns? Because I know where I can put them. And it's like, oh no, we got an idea. So the idea was born, and I was thrilled to hear he had an adaptive reuse for the park. So then, in erecting them in place for the new walkway, something I realized that we've always pulled into Capron Park in the middle of the intersection traffic to pull in. You never take the time to actually read the Capron's names on them pillars. So I was thrilled that now people can walk with their leisure and read the dedication of these amazing, insightful people that donated this land for the Capron Park that we know and has evolved into this jewel of the city. So I was thrilled that he had this insight for an adaptive reuse for something that, okay, they're broken, throw them over there, and what are you gonna do with them? From there, to create the new archway with the little animals in it, to draw that into the zoo,
It's awesome.
great insight,
Yeah.
great design.
Very nice.
So I'd also like to thank Rachel and Blake for their putting this together, and Miriam for her leadership, and the commission and all the commissioners that volunteer to do these things. I think it's just wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to leave these right over here if someone wants to take a closer look at them.
All right. Thank you. Our next award goes to Union Mills 37, and as the name implies, it's at 37 Union Street, for their adaptive reuse of the Robinson Building, also known as the Foster Building locally, into residential apartment units. The building's owned by Robert Jones of GMA Realty, and it's managed by Wingate Companies, and Melissa from Wingate is here tonight. This former industrial complex consists of two 5-story brick manufacturing buildings constructed in 1875 and 1880. They were later joined into a single complex through additions and modifications in 1945 and 1955. Stylistically, the building's components are representative of late 19th century and early mid-20th century industrial architecture in New England. The buildings are primarily constructed of red brick with stone trim. Excuse me, and after Attleboro's devastating fire of 1898, which burned much of the surrounding factories, the Robinson Building was spared and in fact helped many of those businesses that were destroyed by renting them spaces in their multi-tenant building. In 1942, the building was primarily occupied by Foster Metal Products, as well as several other smaller companies. Since 2002, the building's been owned by GMA Realty, and in 2021, rehabilitation of the building began. Today, it has 59 affordable apartment units. The exposed brick, wood beams, and columns and metal fire doors are just some of the original details that remain throughout the building. In October 2023, the Robinson Building was officially listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Melissa, do you want to come up?
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Not sure, is Bob here? Kodatek? No Bob tonight?
Is he hiding out?
He's hiding out. Okay. I just wanted to mention Bob Kodatek is here. He is the representative for GAM Realty and has, brought forth this vision over several years. So it's been an honor to come and work at the property and work with Bob and GAM Realty in order to start managing the building after its construction. So we do have now, we're 100% occupied. We've filled those units with people who needed homes, and it's a pleasure to have such a wonderful group of people living there, and it really is needed. So it's doing a great thing, not only reviving the block itself, and hopefully we can continue that block, but it really is helping out a number of people. So pleased to be working on it and appreciate the acknowledgement. I'm absolutely sure that Mr. Jones will be thrilled.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Say a few words, or?
Oh, no, I just appreciate everybody coming out. Everybody did a great job on the building, from Timberline to construction, affirmative investments, Trina, and now Wingate taking over. So it's a team effort.
Yeah.
Great team.
Yeah.
And I thank everybody.
Yeah. Pleasure.
All right, our next award, we had to cheat just a little bit. This is for Shaw's at Triborough Plaza. We are one of the boroughs. So technically they're in North Attleboro, but that's okay. This is for their store remodeling to include historic photos of Attleboro and North Attleboro landmarks. Tonight we have Maura Reeve and William Rodriguez from the store with us. Shaw's is one of the oldest continually operated supermarkets in the United States. Its New England roots were planted in May of 1860 when George Clinton Shaw opened a small retail grocery store in Portland, Maine. In 1919, fellow Mainer Maynard Davis moved to Massachusetts, founding a group of smaller downtown grocery stores in Brockton and New Bedford areas called the Brockton Public Market, or BPM stores. Later in 1919, Davis purchased George Shaw's company of Portland, Maine, still choosing to operate the two groceries independently. But in 1979, George C. Shaw and Company officially merged with BPM to form Shaw's Supermarkets. Sorry, there's my accent again. After remodeling their North Attleboro store in 2023, Shaw's placed historic photographs of Attleboro and North Attleboro buildings around the upper periphery of the store. If you're thinking, I shop at Triborough Plaza and I've not noticed those, they've just been up since November, but they're up above the shelves. So make sure you look up next time that you're in there and you'll see some historic photos of Attleboro. Did you want to come up and say a few words? All right, thank you.
So I just want to say thank you for this award. We're so happy to be part of this community. I go way back here. When you were talking about Capron Park, this is one of my favorite places to go when I was a child. My father would take me here all the time. So I have such great memories of this area. So it's really important to me, and it's something that is ingrained in me to be in the Attleboro area. So one of the things that Shaw's has always done, and I've actually worked here since it was BPM in 1977. So I've been with Shaw's many years, and everything we've always done is for the community. We try to be part of the community, and we try to do what we can to support the community. So I just wanted to let you people know that we're very excited to receive this award.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. You want to say?
Our next recipient was unable to be here tonight, so the next award goes to Borough Bagels, one of our new stores in town. Tyler Matrone and Jeremy Kokonis for their use of historic Attleboro photographs throughout their restaurant. So a new business, Borough Bagels, is located at the center of downtown, or uptown, Attleboro on Bank Street near the corner of Park Street. The business opened in the summer of 2023, and according to their website, the idea came from two lifelong friends, both born and raised in Attleboro. Their vision was to give customers a cozy, relaxing atmosphere right at the heart of Attleboro that offers fresh brewed coffee, New England-style bagels, muffins, and much more. Similar to our previous recipient, Borough Bagels has decorated their walls with historic pictures of the Attleboro area. Blake will make sure they get their award. He's a regular.
And I think they did actually reach out to the Industrial Museum for their photos.
Oh,
so-
they did. All right. Excellent. thank you again. Your name's just going to keep coming up over and over again. All right, our next award is for Caitlin Guerra, and Caitlin is a senior at North Attleboro High School. Again, we ventured into North Attleboro again, but her project is here in Attleboro. She's in the class of 2024, and she is being honored for her restoration of the Attleboro Area Industrial Museum mannequins. She was part of the Pride of Attleboro Enterprises Pre-ETS program, and in the summer of 2023, Caitlin worked at the Attleboro Area Industrial Museum as part of an internship program there through them. Along with other tasks, she took on the rather unusual project of giving the museum mannequins makeovers. The various figures represent the floor workers, toolers, and owners of the factories in Attleboro, and at least one wonky-eyed World War I soldier. The mannequins have been in the museum since 1991, and 30-plus years is a long time to wait for some lipstick. She actually uncovered some vintage lipstick tubes while cleaning a display in one of her other tasks there. Caitlin thinks she may work in the cosmetology industry, but probably not doing makeup. Maybe someone who doesn't move, or people who don't move will not move. All right, Caitlin, did you want to come up and say a few words, or what?
Thank you. Yeah, I'll sing Caitlin's praises. So she came in the summer right when I was getting started too, and I think had worked with Carlton, but she did all of the research on the mannequins to find out what they were made of and what kind of makeup could be used on them. And then she did research, and I don't know if anyone had been there prior, but they did have some ghoulish green lips. And so she was really, they're, you know, as Rachel said, the wonky eye, they're already a little startling. So she did a lot of work to revive them and literally add some color to their cheeks. And we're really appreciative of all the work you've done. And she has been a huge help in helping to organize our collections and keep things going with us. So thank you so much.
There is something I wanted to say about it, too. So when I did the research for the mannequins, they're by Dorfman, and I believe they're made out of vinyl and silicone. That's the info I got when doing the research for them. And when I was going through the exhibits, cleaning them, I found a lot of cool stuff, including invitations to a city council meeting, like party meeting. I found a bunch of old invitations buried in the boxes. I just uncovered so much stuff when I was there, digging through everything. And, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, and our final award tonight goes to the Attleboro Area Industrial Museum. You've heard their name quite a few times tonight. They're actually neighbors of the Robinson Building as well. They get to look out at each other's buildings. And this is for their replacement of their clerestory windows. So the Attleboro Area Industrial Museum has been a leader in the preservation movement in the city for a long time. Its mission statement is to collect and preserve artifacts, photographs, publications, documents, tools, and machinery from the industrial history of the Attleboro area. It is a good friend to the Historical Society and the Attleboro Historic Preservation Society, the Historical Commission, I think I just merged those two names, as well as countless other groups hosting and sponsoring many programs. Built in 1899, the building was the Attleboro Refining Company, founded by Harold Baker. Attleboro Refining remained in the building until 1968, when it was purchased by Handy and Harmon Refining Company. But by 1973, Handy and Harmon had left the building, and it was acquired for use eventually as the Industrial Museum. The museum was incorporated in 1975 and opened just a few years later. Unlike its neighboring multi-story factories, this is a single-story building. Integral to its design are the clerestory windows along the ridge of the roof. As the name implies, it is a clerestory or dormer of windows. These windows allow for light and ventilation in a dark and smelly factory, which it isn't anymore. And last year, the museum replaced the windows, which not only allow for better lighting, but are more energy efficient. We appreciate their continued upkeep of the building as well as their friendship. I was gonna say, a bunch of their board is here, but we just have two of our friends that'll come up. So Carlton Legg and Victoria Antonucci are here to accept.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Again, this was a project that kind of preceded me. I came in right as we had to cart all of the mannequins and all of the other cases out of the way. But much credit to Carlton and the board for seeking out a grant from the Balfour Foundation to support this project. And when visitors come in, I think it's one of the remarkable parts of the building. Across the street, there was another one, a clear story that's been boarded up. So I think it's special that we still have our windows and they let in a lot of light and really let visitors know what it would have been like to be in that space as a factory, albeit much cooler and less stinky and dangerous. So, but
It's a great old place, and if you haven't been there, you got to get there.
yes,
It's right around the corner.
we're open tomorrow until 4.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
So finally, I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. We do have several of the commission members here tonight. I meant to point them out earlier, and I completely forgot. So Diane Mangiarotti is here from the board. In the back, we've got Kevin Smith and Brian French, Jerry Turcott, Gary Demers is an honorary member. Marion, of course, is our chair. And, oh, Brian Ludwig. There you are, Brian. All right, another member. And, of course, Blake, my right arm, right hand man, my trusty assistant. So thank you everyone for coming tonight, and thank you for everyone who's helped preserve another piece of Attleboro history. Again, I encourage you to walk the gallery of posters from past winners, and then we also have some cookies and punch down the end if you make it there. And we'd love if you'd ask some questions of our recipients and just thank them for what they've done for us. Thank you so much for coming tonight.